The USDA Grain Report is making waves in the market right now, but the fact that it's getting any attention at all is perhaps one of the biggest surprises. And remember, what happens in the markets eventually trickles down to you and me in the form of food prices. Neil Melancon now joins us with this week's Bottom Line. And Neil, it's unusual when news is made by somebody actually paying attention to a report. Tell me what's going on.
Well, Mike, traders were expecting the report to be supportive of the markets, but when it actually came out, the drop in corn carryout was a shock to everyone. As David Bollock said earlier, we've been bullish in the markets of late, but most are looking for new acreage numbers and the new crop. The carryout, or the amount of grain left over from last year's crop, took many by surprise. Soybeans and wheat were pretty close to the USDA report last month and just slightly ahead of the average trade guess for both crops. But as you can see, the carryout for corn is way below both last month and what the traders were expecting. The interesting thing here is that all commodities have far less carryout than this time last year, with corn almost a third of what it was in early 2010. Now, the bottom line here is we're just going to have to make that much more grain in order to cover all of these shortfalls in production, both from the South American crop and the U.S. production in the fall. South America is currently suffering from a lot of drought worries, and our planning battle here in the U.S. has only just begun. What this means for you at the grocery store is that prices will likely go higher. In the past, generally the market price for grain didn't affect food prices all that much, but right now costs are up across the board, and of course you're paying more at the pump, so you're going to be paying more to have that food brought to you to the grocery store. However, we'll hopefully see a lot more grains produced, and that will bring those prices back down, but that's not going to happen until at least we get a better handle on what's being planted this spring, Mike, if not until the actual harvest comes in this fall.
And I know, Neil, you'll continue to keep an eye on this situation as the winter wanes and the spring develops. Neil Melancon, thanks. And remember, you can listen to any of Neil's reports on the Louisiana Farm Bureau Radio Network. For a list of stations where you can listen in, you can go to our website, twilatv.org, and click on the link called LFB Radio Network on the left side of the home page. That does it for this edition of This Week in Louisiana Agriculture. Join us next week when we head back into Holly Clegg's Trim and Terrific Kitchen, where Holly and AJ will prepare a crawfish and corn soup, one of my favorites, and I know it's one of yours. Always a great dish this time of year. Until then, you can watch any of our stories online. Visit our website, you know the address, twilatv.org. For all of us here at This Week in Louisiana Agriculture, I'm Michael Dana. Thanks so much for joining us, everybody. Hope to see you again right here next week.